Mic check, mic check. There we go. Looks like we're finally starting to get the hang of this. Fourth time's a charm, it seems. I've finally mastered the art of using a simple device such as this. Ought to pat myself on the back. I've been on Terra for a few weeks now. One of the most prominent experiences I've had thus far is my time with the barista from that coffee shop in town. We went on what the Terrans call a dinner date. It was really nice. After I acquired funds through selling off my gold, we went to a quaint restaurant in Milan for our dinner. Afterwards, we walked around the city before retiring back to our apartment. I eventually spent the night there and slept the best I've slept in quite a while. The beds here are comfier than the ones on the Scout. I'll definitely have to look at upgrading the ship with some bunk beds. Who's to say comfort and efficiency can't go hand in hand? The date was really nice, and it's something I would love to experience with you. We've done something similar back on Proxima, but it was so long ago that I believe we're well overdue for a new experience. Good food, drinks, and sightseeing here on Terra. There is so much to offer. Enjoying that with you? It would mean the universe to me. The past few weeks have consisted primarily of me finding whatever was around the ship to toss into the generator to, in turn, turn into fuel. Around me there's lots of wood, as well as dirt, rocks, etc. There's an abundance of materials, but nothing I can really extract without causing too much noise or disruption. I tried to cut down a tree, but I had realized that the noise from my cutter was a bit alarming, to say the least. On the bright side, I've got enough fuel to take off. But before I go on with my plans for the day, I think that I'll go over what I've been doing lately. Not in too much of a rush to get to that Hugad's lost cargo. I went out to purchase myself some new clothing on the likely chance that I'd return to Terra. A few generic articles including some sweaters, jeans, sweatpants, gloves, and shoes. Even if I don't use them here, I'm sure that they'll serve adequately as comfortable leisure clothing. I also picked up a toque and a few baseball caps which I found to look... I'll admit, they just looked cool, so I picked them up. All the clothes I bought were blue, black, or some other darker color since they're low profile and serve their purpose. Another thing that I did was explore the culinary aspects of Terra. I didn't have enough teletech charges to go anywhere far, but I walked to a few different locations in the area to try to find out what there was. I had a few common foods as was described adequately by the barista, a cheeseburger with fries and this odd sauce called ketchup. It was simple, but very tasty. Far better than the rations back on Proxima. Not that that's saying too much. Gelatinous protein bars definitely get beaten out by pretty much everything I've tried here. I also had what's it called again? A lasagna, a few different fish dishes, and more sandwiches akin to the one the barista made me. They aren't as good as what she made, but they gave me plenty of ideas on what I eventually stocked up on for the ship's supplies. Overall, I think that the best things I had were the seafood and the wild game. Terran aquatic life is captured or bred and prepared very well here, though I must say the same goes for the land-based creatures as well. I had the most fantastic broth made from fresh clams harvested from a local lakeshore, combined with fragrant minced garlic, onions, scallions, and tomatoes. It was served with fresh baked and toasted bread with butter, which I still think about from time to time. Makes me hungry when I remember just how strong and complex the flavors were. There was some spice in it, but nothing too insane like what I'd experienced in Arakara. Just the smells alone were enough to rouse my hunger. I could detect the subtle hint of crushed and ground spices, freshly baked goods, and the faintest hint of the fresh caught seafood being cooked expertly in butter and herbs. The rosemary, basil, mint, everything. It was something I have never experienced before. I'm practically salivating thinking about some of the places I visited. The food isn't everything though. There were wonderful drinks to be had, some of which weren't even alcoholic. I had freshly squeezed orange juice, which was tart, sour, and sweet all at the same time. Iced tea with the light beer that the server called a Long Island iced tea. I don't know why it's called that, but it didn't matter to me. Pairing that with a fresh grilled portion of venison that was seared perfectly. It was only heightened by being seasoned simply with red wine, salt, and pepper to give way to the most wonderful rich flavors and textures. Oh, and I also purchased a seafood chowder which just blew me away. But I feel like I could talk about it for hours, so I'll move on to the next thing I did. You know me, I adore cooking and food in general, and I remember the countless hours we spent trying to make our rations taste even just a little bit better back on Proxima. The efforts were mostly futile, but they were efforts. We did our absolute best, but if we had the ingredients I've tried here, we could easily be the best and probably some of the only chefs on Proxima. I might have to hang up my armor and open up a restaurant somewhere nice with you. I could definitely imagine the both of us living somewhere nice, quiet, comfortable. A good life somewhere that the weather is just the way we like it and the going is good. Well, I've talked about food for quite a spell, but there was so much more on Terra that I experienced in the past few days. One thing I enjoyed was the quieter moments between refueling the ship manually and running errands in town. I walked through a few of the parks surrounding the town, listening to the light winds rustling the leaves of the high trees around me, the light pattering of rain against my leather jacket, and the sounds of my boots crunching on the gravel and grasses beneath me. All of this accompanied by the calming scent of the fresh greenery during the rainfall and a nearby stream which bubbled away quietly. Birds chirped from overhead in the branches, and all else I could hear was the spectacular silence. It's certainly far different than the pristine gardens on Proxima. They're beautiful, but there's something so much different about this place. Terra, I mean. Everything seems so organic, so real. Where the hedges on Proxima 5 are trimmed and maintained to a T, this place is completely untouched, natural. You'd love it here, I'm sure of it. All of this natural beauty has got me pondering over how different Terrans are from us Proximans, where we focus on efficiency entirely in every aspect of our being. The Terrans seem torn between efficiency and enjoyment. Yes, they generally try to maximize income generation for the most part, but there are still many who seek a life of fulfillment over efficiency, a truly strange circumstance. I wonder if there's a way that they can balance out enjoying life and working. I know that you work tirelessly on Proxima. It's who you are to do your best, even if it doesn't always amount to what you want it to be. But I wonder what it'd be like to work and enjoy life simultaneously. I believe I've achieved it somewhat, but I still definitely have a long ways to go. Perhaps I'll learn more about us on my travels. I think that one of the reasons the Terrans are able to enjoy life the way they are is because they are so simple. Not to say that they are unintelligent by any means, but they are not burdened by technology as we are. Like the Tatago civilizations, it proves to me that the simpler things are, the happier people are in general. Less distractions from what matters most to you, since you aren't prioritizing profit, but instead focusing on spiritual wealth. Happiness, I might call it. Regardless of technology or not, I know that you and I will always be happy together. Just as we always have. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Now, back to current events. I've repaired the ship, or at least what I could have with what few materials were available here on Terra. Happy or not, Terra could certainly do with an upgrade to its technology department. With the repairs I've made to the shield capacitor and the hull, the Scout is looking a bit scuffed, but far better than it was when I got poked by the Eternians a bit at the warp gate. That, in tandem with the charge I've been getting from deconstructing materials and using the solar chargers, we're sitting relatively pretty, and I've got enough power units to get back into orbit and track down that Hugadar cargo. It isn't too far from here, just a bit past Venus. While I do have some fuel at the ready, I don't think that I have enough to feel safe with this much in my reserves. But I'm betting that Hugadar vessel has got more than a few power cores that didn't get destroyed during its collision with the asteroids. Hopefully when I go up there, I can manage to snag a few energy units to sustain myself, at least for a little while. Besides, if worst comes to worst, I can always return to Terra after mining an asteroid in the solar system for more gold. The Terrans seem to hold it in high regard, so it would be easy to mine a few and sustain myself almost indefinitely if I budget properly. But the main priority remains that Hugadar cargo. I need to make sure that I get my hands on it before another bounty hunter or a curious traveler snags my take. Now, I was going to end the recording here, but I think it'd be neat if I brought you along with me for this contract. I'm not entirely sure if that's what you'd want, but I don't think that this mission should pose any danger to myself. Priming engines. Currently the plan is I head up to the target location after these engines are fully primed, and I've performed a maintenance check. Thrusters are fully operational. Shield strength at maximum for current condition. Hull is compressed and prepared. Airlocks are sealed. Systems are all up and running. Looks like we're just about set to go. Alright, and we're ready for liftoff. Activating thrusters. And with that, we're on our way to Venus. Oh boy, everything is holding up well. Engaging artificial gravity. O2 generators fully operational. We are now entering Terra's stratosphere, and here we are, well on our way to Venus. Crimson is showing that things are holding together nice and tight, and we shouldn't be too long in traveling to our destination. In the meantime, I guess I'll put on some music that the barista gave me on a USB drive. I bought a small speaker from the pawn shop where I sold my gold and installed it into one of the overhead cabinets here in the cockpit. Her taste in music is good by Proxima standards, who don't often partake in such niceties. Now let's cue up what she loaded onto it for me. Something we listened to while making breakfast one day, perhaps. There we go. Something nice and calming to listen to while we're in our brief transit. I could definitely get used to this. Something to listen to other than the subtle hum of the engines and my own thoughts. I'll have to see if I can't get more music to listen to while on my travels. Hopefully the added background music isn't bothering you too much. If I feel like it's causing too much disruption, I'll definitely turn it off once I listen back to the recording before sending it to you. No matter how many times I see it, I always love watching as the stars, planets, and asteroids fly by during transit to my destinations. Seeing the infinite array of constellations moving by so quickly just gets me excited to think about all the places I can explore. I just wish I had you here at my side. As much as I'm enjoying my freedom from the cold of Proxima, it's not worth anything if I can't have you right here. But that day will come. The day when I can have you right here in this pilot seat beside me as we traverse the great expanse and see everything the universe has to offer. I can't wait for us to taste the foods, experience the sights, and, well, listen to the music we come across along the way. There wasn't any real music on Proxima, and I can't wait to show you what I've got stockpiled. Chances are I'll have enough music to last us the longest of voyages in time. This contract is one of many, and I still have many to go in the foreseeable future. But what drives me forwards is remembering that every alert, deposit, and contract I complete brings me just that much closer to having you here with me. It's been far too long since we've spoken in person. Since we've, well, anything really. Looks like we're just about there. Powering down thrusters. And whoa, that's a lot of wreckage. Definitely the Hugadar vessel we were looking for. But now that we're getting closer, this definitely wasn't an asteroid. The hull of this ship, everything, it's completely destroyed. The hull has been blasted open by something fearsome. It'd take tons of firepower to shred apart a Hugadar vessel like this one. The entire upper chassis is in ruin. The thrusters blasted to dust and the atlas above. Running scan. Let's see if that cargo is still even intact, or if there's any power cores available. By the looks of it, there won't be much left to salvage. I can't even begin to imagine what destroyed this ship. And, peculiar. There's parts from other ships here among the debris. Ship parts I've never seen before. This definitely wasn't an asteroid collision. Not by any stretch of the imagination. I wonder what that Hugadar is hiding. Why? What was their name again? Uldog. I'll definitely have to ask this Uldog what the deal is with this cargo when I deliver it to them on Hugadar. But for now, let's see what this scan shows us. Well, first and foremost, there's definitely a few power cores stored away amidst all this wreckage. That, and lo and behold, our Hugadar's missing cargo. It is... wow, that's damaged. The frame is dented to Turos and back, but it's there, and it's intact. That's all that matters. Now, let's see getting in close and snagging those power core chassis real quick. There we go. We managed to snag a ton of wreckage as well, but it's all in the subhold now and we've still got plenty of space. The chassis looked a bit roughed up in the scans, but we managed to snag a few of them in one go, so there should be a lot to look through. Hopefully a few of these power cores are still fully intact. Now, let's grab that ominous looking package. Easy does it. Oh, Atlas, that's not the ticket. Let's try that again. Come on, come on. Almost there. There we go. Got it. Not the cleanest extraction, but we got it done, and ultimately, that's what counts. We got the cargo. That's a few thousand more unicreds in the pocket. Just another step closer to getting a better transponder. And, well, getting us that future we've always wanted together. Alright, now let's get out of here and head back to Terra's orbit while we check over the condition of those power cores we got. Thrusters engaging. And I'll let Crimson take over for a while so I can look at our haul. Now let's take this recording with me and move over to the loading bay to peruse our catch. Wait for it to pressurize. And then we open up the airlock and check out what we've got in store. Whoa, there's a lot of junk and debris in here to sort through. But what I'm looking for first and foremost are those power cores. And let's see what's behind door number 1. Atlas above, that's a lot of broken power cores. Smells terrible. Definitely not going to be able to salvage anything in that one. The chassis got smashed in and it looks like... yeah, shrapnel. Yes, definitely shrapnel. Hugax, I'm telling you. Now, let's see what's behind door number 2. Okay, there's some promise. A lot of these are broken, but there's definitely a few that are salvageable. Now, there's one more power core storage unit in here, so I'll check that out now. This case is locked heavily. Probably explains why the chassis isn't damaged too badly or anything. Now, with the right software, let's see if we can't crack this lock. Hugax are known commonly not only for their poor navigation in heavy armored vessels, but also for their intense greed. Chances are there's some high quality power cores in this box. We just need to crack it open with a little bit of time, a little bit of luck, and with that we should be good to go. Let's see what treasures lie for us within this crate. There we are. Exactly what I was looking for. Not only are these powerful, but they're exactly what I needed. These should provide me enough power units to last for some time. Not to say I'm ever going to forget being completely out of fuel on a landing. That was more than enough stress for the next lifetime. Can't always be relying on pure luck. But before we plug in some of these new cores, let's take a look for this Hugax cargo. I know that I got the thing in here, but it's somewhere amidst all this debris. Well, there's definitely a whole lot that Hugax isn't telling me. This is some quality armor that got smashed to pieces by whatever tore it apart. There aren't too many things which could get through this Hugax warship's armor. Gets me thinking about what's in this box. There we go. Let's just shift that over here to the side. Don't want to throw that out by accident. Not that I think I could do it by myself. That thing is heavy. As much as I want to check out what's in there, I think I'd rather not take my chances and just leave it for the Hugag to deal with. After they pay me, of course. Now let's see about grabbing one of these cores and popping them into the scout. All these burnt out power slots. Gonna fill them with these cores later. But in the meantime... There we go. The lights are running just a bit brighter already. Can't wait to see what it's like to be at max capacity for energy again. Been quite a long time since the cores are rather expensive. Now, as much as I'm sure you'd love to listen to me dig through scrap metal and space junk, I think that we'll part ways for now. Don't want to hurt your ears with the sounds of digging vigorously for whatever's salvageable amidst the wreck of this Hugag warship. Perhaps there'll be more power cores, some spare materials, and if I'm very lucky, a transponder so I can speak with you in real time. I'm highly doubtful that I'll find such a thing, but luck is usually on my side. I met you after all. Regardless, things are looking up for the first time in a while. The ship is stocked with good food, I have music to listen to, I found an entire energy chassis of intact HGK power cores. Things are going very well, and they're only going to get better. I feel it. Anyways, I have to sort out through all of this debris and make my way to Hugadar to deliver this cargo. I'll speak to you soon as I can. Probably when I've delivered the packages to Uldok. Hang in there, alright? I'm getting one step closer to being at your side again. This is Ryker Feldstar, Audio Log 4, signing off.